Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Mae.
And I'm Laura. Mae, what we doing?
Oh boy. So in light of me just returning from a safari trip, I thought it would be interesting, bleak, but interesting, to take a deep dive into one of the most disgusting industries, and that's trophy killings. So we're going to talk about the dirtbags that get off on hunting these, defenseless animals, the people that supply it, why they supply it.
And we're going to debut a new background.
Yeah.
A trophy kill. No, just kidding.
That's hilarious. I brought back an elephant. His name is Fluffy or something.
Our new mascot.
But yeah, I mean, it's sort of like a really interesting thing. And there's a lot of like ethics questions in this. You'll see what I mean. It's not as black and white as you think it might be.
That's surprising. So enjoy.
Where's the money? I don't understand how you make money.
Hold on.
From that, though.
2 stand-up comics in New York City.
Just learned a lot of this stuff. I'm going to ask all the stupid questions that you might be thinking at home, but are afraid to ask people.
Making it to where you feel like you're too stupid to be able to ever engage in it, they win.
Why the fuck are they doing this?
It's to make money. It's risqué business news.
All right, so before we talk about anything, I have to talk about this cop that's all over Instagram. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes, you do.
Wait, why do I know why do we know about this story?
I don't know. So if you guys don't know what we're talking
if you're
about,
healthier on your social media consumption,
right? If you're
I hate that I know about this.
Chronically online, like we are. I genuinely need to go to a facility, honestly, literally.
It's a problem.
To take away my screen time. But anyway, if you're not chronically online, there was multiple sources published this story about a small Tennessee police station that was rocked with allegations of wild sexual misconduct after a married female officer allegedly had steamy romps with at least 6 of the officers, and apparently it was like on-duty liaisons, according to reports. But the funny thing about this is this officer, Megan Hall, like she makes the girl from FTX look like a fucking femme fatale.
Like a bombshell.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks, I mean, the thing is that she looks, first of all, very young. And second, I'm like, no one's.
I wonder how old she is. Let me check that.
I would imagine in like her early 20s.
Yeah, I would guess.
I really fucking hope. We're like 16. I'm like, whoa.
I mean, honestly, they should be just glad that anyone is willing to do that fucking job right now.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we should leave her alone. Like, yeah. I'm glad she's busy doing this and not, impacting minority groups.
True.
I do think a lot of them were minorities that she was having sex with. Well, I saw a picture of them and I was just like, whoa.
She probably felt guilty about all the injustices that the police department did.
Megan Hall's a hero. That's what I'm hearing. Good for her.
She's like, I might be, breaking into the wrong home and putting people in danger, but I'm also given a blowy.
She's like, I got into police work to really do civil duties. And I really mean that.
Yeah.
I put my mouth where my mouth is.
Yeah. My mouth where your dick is. Cool.
I can't believe also, why is that? I mean, I understand why that story has spread so much because it's insane.
It is, but
why do I know it in the first place? Why was that reported on?
And I mean, I guess like the idea that they're having sex at work is something, but I'm like, what? Like nothing's illegal that they're doing. She's just somebody who's having extramarital affairs, and so are they. A lot of them are married too, but like that's very common. You know what I mean? Especially like workplace extramarital affairs.
Yeah.
Woohoo, call the fucking CIA.
Yeah, surprise.
I guess obviously law officers are supposed to be
moral.
Like paying attention on the job and not getting their
I can understand getting fired for it, but why do I need to know on like NBC News? What does that group need to get involved and tell me and then open the door for just a lot of really funny Twitter threads and then a lot of very misogynistic Twitter threads too.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, duh.
Yes.
But I'm not on Twitter, so enlighten me. That's the one place that I have a healthy relationship. A lot of them were
just like the train, like she's ran through, et cetera, et cetera. We got it.
Right.
She sounds like she had fun. That's what I'm hearing from this whole thing. Sounds like she had a good year.
That's true.
She is crushing 2023.
Yeah, like she's a consenting adult.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's her thing with her husband too. That's the other thing is like, I don't know, maybe he's into that.
Yeah.
People
People are into shit.
People are into things. It's their prerogative.
Yeah.
It's really not my business, but the fact that I know about it, it's pretty funny.
It's the whole world knows about it.
The whole world. And like her picture, we all know what she looks like exactly.
And that iconic photo that they took as a police department, it's just like all these guys and she's at the front like.
She's tiny.
She's so little.
It just looks like they were casting a porn, you know?
With like grade school level girl.
Yeah, I mean, it
run a train on.
Genuinely looks like if you had the canonical example of getting run a train on. Good for her. Maybe she'll do the pod.
Maybe she'll do the pod. That would be fucking incredible. It really would.
We just have one thing to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Size comparison in order. Let's go.
Oh, God.
How big were their guns? Be honest. How many loads? Okay, that's enough. We're done.
So allegedly, in these wild sexcapades, there was dirty pictures, including taking her top off at a Girls Gone Wild hot tub party.
All right, that's mild.
Great. And then
I'm not impressed by tits anymore.
No, I want to see labia.
Yeah, if I don't... I don't even count it as nudity unless I see labia or ball sack.
You can totally see, like, I famously don't watch porn. I have a bit about it. And everyone knows my material. Like, whatever.
You know.
But, like...
I'd love to see her live.
I don't watch porn. It's not my thing, whatever. But you can see how people get so desensitized so fast.
Absolutely.
And, like, need to do all this crazy stuff to get off. Because, like, when I went to that sex show I talked about last week, they were, like, having sex. And I was like, this is fucking boring. You want to get out of here? There's people literally... I don't even have the decency to look at them and be entertained.
Yeah, you're like, put your legs in the air more. Do contortionist shit.
I want it to be an educational program where I finally learned how to give a good blowjob.
It's a seminar. You want a TED Talk. Not a sex show. I would like a TED Talk combined with sex show.
I almost went to one, actually, because there's a sex shop near me, and it gives, like, blowjob classes.
Oh, my God. We need to go to that.
We gotta go.
That's hilarious.
And it was pretty cheap. It was like $10. And I was like, and I don't know, I had like a conflict. I think I got booked that night. And I was like, guess I'll learn how to
guess I'll do a blowy another time.
It is a shame, though, that, like, I don't, you know, I would like to give a really impressive blowjob.
I mean,
that would be...
That's your 2023
that's my goal.
Resolution.
I have to set the bar low because last year's goal was to have anal sex. And that really did not pan out for me. So... Yeah, I got some challenges. Okay. This lady does not seem to have any challenges when it comes to having the police officer going back to her for a little bit. So I wanted to talk about this one thing that was highlighted in a New York Post article. New York Post, by the way, entertaining as fuck.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry to say.
They have really just embraced being the wild and crazy newspaper.
So
none of this is true, but it's funny though.
It's so much fun. So one of the people that she had hooked up with said that he had become concerned about her mental health because she was drinking super heavily and driving.
Oh, so as a cop?
I don't know. But, I mean, she's definitely a cop. I don't know if she was driving on duty. But
I mean, either way,
you're not supposed to be.
Not only are you are the one who would be arrested. Yeah, that's a problem.
As a private citizen, don't do that.
Don't do that. That's like, get an Uber.
Yeah. So the officer also said that the lady, Megan Hall, she had once pulled the trigger on an empty gun pointed at her temple so she could, quote, hear what it sounded like. So not a well person.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You know what's probably going to help her mental health?
This news story. I would think so.
I hope she's getting help.
Yeah. Also, I mean, listen, people have different motivations to do what they do or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, like, it almost feels like she's getting, like, so much validation. I hate to even say that, but you know what I mean.
OnlyFans. Maybe that could be a cool
transition.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, good for you. Maybe no more copping, a little bit more. Yeah.
So this other guy, same guy that just talked about the gun. At one point during a party on Memorial Day, the woman Hall was reportedly being force-fed vodka by this guy in a hot tub. At which time her top came off and other cops stopped the former officer, that guy got fired, from drinking, or she got fired too, from drinking and helped her cover up to protect her. So this other guy's like a fucking freak because he probably saw like a opportunity to be like, oh, well, she's being slutty with everyone. So like, let me like
get in on that.
Yeah. Let me shove vodka down her fucking throat.
Oh no.
I know.
Oh God. Yikes. Also vodka. Ugh.
I know. Anyway.
Can you imagine having your top pulled off at work? That's so foreign to me. I would never be in the hot tub at work.
No.
Or ever close.
It's funny. I work with all women except for one guy. Yes.
I guess
2 guys.
But then, like, what is the setting in which we're in a hot tub?
Well, my boss was like over the summer, 'cause she lives in Connecticut, so she was like, I have a pool. It'd be so fun if like we all had like a pool day or whatever. And I was like,
cute.
And I was thinking the whole time though, I was like, are we all gonna like stay in our sundresses? Because it's like, even though we're literally almost all women, it's still weird.
It is weird.
You know?
It is absolutely weird. And for my industry, hard fucking no. I work with mostly men.
No, that would be a fucking hard no.
Disaster. I don't even want to think about that. No. Force-fed vodka, I'd be I feel
like when I worked at LinkedIn, they did a lot of like we had a global sales kickoff or whatever in Miami, and there was like a lot of obviously bathing suit stuff there.
Yeah.
But like that company, you know, a lot of like the sales force is like in their mid-20s, early 20s. It's like sort of like it's like an extension of college where they're like, just come here and bang a bunch of your coworkers and then never leave.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was a really big thing. It still kind of is, but I think just remote work has changed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Where Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of those like large tech companies, they made it to where it was really just an extension of college.
Right.
Where you'd get some very like, you know, high emotional intelligence, smart, generally attractive people.
Yep.
Put them in one place and then make it to where they don't feel like they want to leave. Give them free food, etc.
I
have a lot of friends who did all that, and like, it was weird. It was like culty.
I felt like I was in a cult the whole time. I mean, it was like, and it was nice. Like I liked the people that I worked with.
Great perks,
and stuff,
obviously.
But like that's like another thing of how they trap you, where they're like a lot of your social circle works there. So then you're like,
how are you gonna like really, you know, fairly look at your compensation and stuff when they're like, okay, well you could quit, but you'll have no friends. You're like, well, what is that worth? And
yeah,
$20,000 to $30,000 is what it turns out to be worth.
Literally, I was so fucking depressed working there. Oh my god, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's very strange. I bet there'll be some like good documentaries on that in like another 15 years or so.
And you know what I mean? I think like that type of environment works for a lot of people. Just for me specifically, it really ate my soul, and I didn't see it coming. I was like, I was in a bad way. But now I'm not. All right. So now I found the perfect job. Okay. So this other article that I found on the New York Post, which was just a fucking gold mine.
We should get it. We should get it delivered.
We should.
The paper copy of the New York Post.
Apparently, you got to stop listening to any podcast. I don't care if it's fucking
mine,
the Daily, for certainly not ours, but you got to stop listening to podcasts and just taking what they say and running with it. But allegedly, Joe Rogan had hinted in some way that there might be prehistoric mammoth bones in the East River.
Oh, no.
So anyway,
why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So this diving team, but they were like, well, we should probably look for them. So now there's like this professional diving team that's looking. I know. I'm like, gee, you might... God bless.
You're going to be mammoth bones down there. And then you're going to ass it all up.
So
the East River's not clean.
They talked to one of the directors at some natural history museums, and they were like, yeah, it's like really unlikely. I don't know why they're spending their time doing that. And their thing was like, they're like, well, if we spend a ton of time and nothing happens, okay, but we have to do this. It's like, why do you have to do this?
Men need hobbies. I'm assuming it's dudes.
Oh, of course it's dudes. And then this is the funniest part. So I was like, well, if they hit it big and they get these prehistoric mammoth bones,
then they're going on Joe Rogan. That's for sure.
What's that payday look like? Apparently, the most any natural history museum or anything like that has ever paid for mammoth bones has been less than $700,000, which is obviously a lot of money, but it's not going to set you up for life kind of money.
Also, if it's a team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool little, afternoon activity. Talk about a wholesome activity.
That's wholesome.
Like, well, they didn't drink, but we scoured the East River for mammoth bones.
Maybe we should do that. You know what we should do this summer? Is that we should
get our diving certification.
No, we should get metal detectors and just walk around the park.
Oh, I do. So I am like... bird watching and metal detecting, that is 100. I am so susceptible to being that person.
Let's go to the Ramble and yell at someone for having their dog off a leash or whatever.
Yeah. Ma'am, you're 31. I'm like,
that's hilarious.
It's not awfully showers anymore.
One of the couples on safari, by the way, they were like obsessed with. They must have been bird watchers in their real life, I guess.
Bird watching's fun. Don't hate. I like it.
No, it's great. Whatever. But like when you're on safari, you can see a fucking elephant or a bird.
It takes precedent.
And like they kept like wanting us to stop so they could like zoom in on an owl that was like we could find. Me and Mark were like, oh my god, we're literally in Africa. Go look at owls on your own time in England. Like,
English. Yeah, I feel like England has a lot of bird watchers.
Yeah. Do you know there's no trees in England? Did you know this?
What?
I swear to God.
Like we've seen trees in like wild trees. Wait, that can't be real.
I swear to you.
This is from a podcast?
No, it's from my father, who could also be lying. Let's see.
No trees in England. There's
no oak trees. Left. British trees are disappearing.
The last of the trees planted by the Victorians.
When did Britain lose its trees? It's been bare. Most of Britain is bare of trees. How fucking weird is that? Did England ever have trees?
What? Okay.
How crazy is that?
So there's some trees, but not many. That is weird because I always thought of like Robin Hood, the cartoon. You know, that animated movie that became British? Later on. He's British, right? I think that's the whole thing he's fake. So who really knows?
I don't know.
Wasn't he like stealing from the rich?
And giving to the poor, but I don't know if that was in England or in America.
It's fine. Robin Hood. Is he British?
Is he British? What is Robin Hood's nationality? That's so funny.
Because he was
living in trees and shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was like in a treehouse. I thought that was his whole nationality. English.
Okay, I don't know.
So back in his days, that was the last of the
trees,
the last of the woods, because he lived in the woods of Sherwood Forest. He lived in Sherwood Forest. I know a lot about Robin Hood.
I was also thinking to myself, because we're obviously like surrounded by like trees and shrubbery and all that stuff. I was like, these British people must be losing their minds.
Yeah, they're like, what? No, another place that famously has no trees is Iceland.
Really?
So famously, they cut all of them down because they were fucking idiots when they were Vikings.
Oh.
So they got onto the island, they cut all of the trees down, and then they realized they couldn't make boats.
Ooh.
So they got stuck for thousands, let's call it hundreds, I don't know history that well, of years on this island, like solo. So no, and that's part of the reason a lot of them are like interrelated, because no new people found them for a very long time.
Why couldn't they make the boats? Because the wood sucked?
There was no wood. They cut all the trees down.
I see.
So once they cut all the trees down, they like didn't think about didn't think about keeping them around, and then they just had to eat. Like, they didn't have plants because it was too cold, so they basically just had sheep that would eat grass, and that's what they ate. And fish, obviously. Nuts.
That's crazy. That's so
fucking
weird.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just being the person with that news? Like, well, we can't get off this island anymore, and there's no trees, and I don't see really a path for us.
Right.
So.
Oh God.
Isn't that sick?
I guess I'm gonna fuck my brother.
I guess we're just getting good at fishing.
Jesus Christ. That is the last person there. It's like, bye, have a nice trip. And they look around. They're like, oh God.
Hold on.
Wait, come back for me, right?
Wait, you're coming back, right? Yeah, we're coming back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're totally coming back.
They didn't come back.
They didn't come back for a very long time.
Yeah.
Things were a little different when they got
Do you know
back.
that Greggy's breed of cat came over from the Vikings?
Oh, yeah. That makes 100% sense.
He looks like a Viking.
He looks like a Viking.
So it's him. It's his. There was like some breed over there, and then they brought it over, and then it mated with a wild thing in Maine, like more of like a lynx thing. And
that
then
makes sense.
They used to exist in the wild, and then they just became like completely domesticated.
Oh,
so
also kinky.
Yeah.
That first one was like, hey.
Yeah, but it said
you're wild.
I read online
like your style.
That it was like, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Rare.
But it was like, yeah, if you have a Maine Coon as a pet, then you set it loose, it's obviously going to die in the wild. But if it's a kitten and it just raised, like if you had like a little, like a litter of kittens with its mom, they might still be able to survive in like Maine specifically.
You know who would 100% not survive in the wild? Password.
But he looks so delicious.
Oh, Password, the Balinese cat. They have no relation to Bali. They have no relation to anything. They are cross-eyed. He is for looks only, and he is perfect.
They are so cute. Okay, great. Next story. I don't know if you saw this penis statue that came up in Boston. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh my God, it's the funniest thing in the world. Why does this keep happening?
I don't know.
Someone needs to just throw a little 3D model and then kind of like look at it from all angles before hit and go on construction.
People are so embarrassing. So for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, for MLK Day and in honor of MLK, in Boston, they unveiled this $10 million.
What?
Yeah. Like it's supposed to be like a statue, but it's supposed to be like an embrace,
hug, right?
like a big hug or whatever.
Between
but
him and his wife?
I think just him and the world. I don't really know.
Okay.
To be
honest. I think I read a headline somewhere that said it was like another person with the last name King, but I'm not sure who it was.
I'm like, it better not have been his wife because he cheated on her.
Right. I know. Drex has that great joke about it.
Yeah.
That's how I know most of my MLK facts. Is comedians' jokes.
Yeah. Not everyone's perfect. No one's perfect, in fact.
No, I mean, I would argue that he did enough good stuff to if
counteract.
Anyone's going to cheat,
yeah,
fair enough. Still don't.
But
for the record.
Yeah. I feel like every civil rights leader cheats. Because I think a lot of them, right?
Really?
Like, I think.
Nelson Mandela?
Nelson Mandela, I believe so. I mean, he spent 30
Mother
years in fucking prison.
Teresa, whore,
slut.
Just kidding. I have no idea if she made it.
Helen Keller.
I hope she did. Good for
got
her.
Around.
Got around.
She was a civil rights leader, I guess, for the disabled.
Disabled, yeah. I mean, that's.
Yeah. Who else? Sure, Malcolm
mostly
X
Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela did though, right?
I think so,
that was the other one that comes to mind.
But also, where did he have the time to do that? He was in jail for 30 years.
I mean, cheating is relative. He was in jail.
Listen, gotta have those conjugal visits or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so that's embarrassing, and
well, okay, so I mean, we should put this on our Instagram or something. But like the angle, like some of the angles that you're looking at this from, it looks like a half flaccid dick being cradled by two gigantic hands.
It really does.
Like, really, when I first saw it, I was like, what am I looking at here?
What are we doing here?
I'm sure other angles probably look normal, but that angle is tough.
So you're right. You're correct. It was him and his wife embracing. That's the idea. I don't know why.
No one double checked on that?
I don't know. Right. I don't know. And also, I love, like, I'm from, Massachusetts, and it's so funny to me how the whitest cities in America just like choose to be like, who needs to speak up about this? Us. Like Portland, Oregon is like, we must rally.
We've asked our 3 black people.
Yeah.
No, we've asked them and they want.
They're like the Robinsons that live on this. With our one black family, yeah, we've checked with them. It's like they want us to dedicate $10 million of tax-paying money.
Yep, absolutely.
That's what they need.
They're gonna have no way in, and we're gonna really nail it. With how our execution goes on this.
Yep. So that's just like a really funny little.
It's hilarious. I would like to go see it next time I go to Boston.
I guess it's in the Common. Boston Common.
Take a trip.
Yeah.
Do a walk by.
Beautiful place.
Oh, that is a cute picture.
Happy MLK Day, everyone.
Happy MLK Day. If you're working today, you are racist.
Your company is racist. You're racist. And I don't know what you want me to tell you. It's like.
It's true.
Yeah. So, great. Lovely. So a lot of people were pissed about it. A lot of his family members were like, why the fuck?
Were they really? I mean, I kind of don't blame them.
According to this article, they were like...
According to the New York Post.
According to the New York Post, they said that they were like, why is it so expensive? What are we doing here? What's
Frankly, the cost, I'm like, the permits and all sorts of bullshit. I can kind of understand that. It's a ton of money.
Yeah, of course.
It's crazy.
Just the materials alone.
I can see... Talking about the big dig, I'm like, things really get out of hand. Listen, we know. Historically, Boston, wow, they really escalate things.
Literally, it was the subject of every dinner party. We should have a party that's just
big dig themed.
Big dig themed, and you have to come dressed as your parents in the 90s or early 2000s, and the only topic of conversation we can talk about is the big dig.
But the big dig back in the day, you can't do modern day big dig, which is used. Like, it's a tunnel now. It has to be the status of the construction permits and who's gotten the latest contracts.
Yep.
That'll be my Galentine's Day party this year.
That is so funny. We just
Galentine's big dig theme.
You gotta just have like all of your facts ready. You're going to know who the mayor at the time was? I don't even fucking know.
Cite the MapQuest redirect that you needed. It took me an extra 37 minutes on my printed out map.
Oh my God. Have to wear culottes. I think those were in style then.
Trying to get to Logan Airport and you can't.
What's a super like 90s snack people had? Maybe we could have like tuna finger sandwiches or something.
Yeah, I was thinking orange slices. It might have been because I was just in elementary school, but orange slices were a big 90s thing for me. I haven't been presented with orange slices like since.
You know what's wicked funny is if we're like, oh, it's like people like it's a 90s theme party. We're like, no. It's a big
it's big dick themed. It's big dick themed. And now that I'm thinking about it, I have literally not had an orange slice as an adult.
Yes, you have.
No, dude. When are you getting presented with orange slices?
When I go to the grocery store and buy an orange.
No. That's you eat an orange. Like sliced. Who is presented like at a party? You've never... How fucking weird is that?
It's true.
It's for children only.
Oh my God.
No one's slicing them up.
That is so fucking
For
funny.
adults? No, it's not happening.
90s stuff is so funny. Those cheese sticks and the string cheese.
String cheeses. Oh, you
Those
do
are
have orange
delicious.
slices in Palomas or whatever. Or in like certain drinks. Aperol spritzes, they have them.
But it's not
That's
like
the only time I've ever encountered them as an adult.
It's not the big wedge that you get.
Wedges.
Yeah.
Like a fat tray, like a storage bin of
It's also wicked funny that you would like run around outside for a little bit and your friend's mom would be like, come in for orange. You gotta have these orange. Like,
get in here.
You need the energy from the orange slices. And it's like,
I'm fine. Maybe a water.
I'm 8 years
Here,
old.
have this in a Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
Get back
right?
out there. All hyped up.
Okay, well, that is fucking hysterical. Anyway. Why haven't we done an episode on the big
We
dig?
do need to do it. All right.
Okay.
We're going to do it.
All right.
God,
I'm not even sure if it was the 90s or early 2000s, but either way,
It
it's
was
fucking
both,
hilarious.
probably.
Probably both.
It was forever.
It
It lives on in spirit.
It's okay.
I miss it.
I don't know if you heard this story or not, but Goldman Sachs laid off 3,000 people in one fucking day.
Nice. That's a professional level of layoff. Why are they doing that?
I don't know. Why
are we pretending a recession's still happening?
I think so.
Damn.
Is it gonna happen?
We don't know.
It's
We've been edging for a while.
We have.
Oh, we're gonna recede? We don't know.
Oy, maron.
That's unfortunate. Do we know like what areas or departments, or was this just an excuse for them to fire a bunch of people? Because I feel like they get excited about that kind of stuff.
They do
sometimes.
like
They're
it.
like, ooh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Ugh, refreshing.
I feel like they hire people. Like, here's my thing: 3,000. I mean, obviously it's an enormous company, but it's like 3,000 people is a lot of fucking people. So it's like, why would you hire? Like, think about all like the time,
onboarding,
the interviewing. Why would you have these people like without the intentions of?
Did they maybe just like shut down departments or something like that? Like
maybe
like a department where they were like, oh, crypto, we're done with it.
Yeah. The FTX chapter.
Whoa.
That's a good question. I do not know, but this is really particularly offensive. You can work from home, obviously. And there was a CEO, David Solomon, and he emailed calendar invites that called targeted employees to phony business meetings at the NYC headquarters. So once the employees arrived in a conference room, many of them were called there for as early as 7:30 a.m.
To be fired?
Yes.
Why?
Fire me at
Online.
11. Yeah, or just send me an email that says, you are fired.
It's fine.
And I'll be like, damn. Just send me an email that says, you're fired. Here's your severance. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Your health insurance runs up to the end of the month.
Yep. That's it.
That's it.
Man, that's unfortunate. I would be furious if they commuted in from like Philly.
I know.
They're like, well, now what do I do? It's 8:00 in the morning in New York.
Yeah.
I should go drink.
I know. I love the way that the Post writes. It goes, so they were greeted by the head of the team telling them they were getting canned, and their manager grimly observed the proceedings.
They're all like, they wanted to write fiction, every single person at the New York Post. But instead they have to,
in some ways.
They get to marry their two interests.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this podcast.
So fired employees were given the choice to leave the office immediately or wait for colleagues to arrive so they could say goodbye. Again, anyone who needs to get in touch with me, you would have my phone number by then.
Yeah, that's so true. Also, what are you going to hang out in the lobby? Just
I know,
like,
right?
Hey guys, bad news about the meeting you're about to go into.
Totally.
But wanted to say bye.
That's crazy.
That's unfortunate. I'm sure they'll get new jobs, but maybe not. Maybe we're fucked.
I don't know.
Who knows?
How long can you be on unemployment? Like a year? Does it depend on how long you were at your job?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'd probably state by state. New York's pretty... the one thing I will say is like the labor laws here are like pretty decent, I would say. So I think as long as you prove you're like applying for jobs and it's not working out, then things can...
Yeah.
You can get some support.
I actually just watched the Seinfeld episode where George has put Jerry's number down at some place that he was interviewing at, Vandelay Industries. And he was a latex salesman, but none of that was true, obviously. And then the employment office called and hilarity ensues.
I don't know if you've heard, but it's a pretty good show.
It's a pretty good show. I don't know if you guys have heard also that and this other underground show that I watch sometimes, The Sopranos. Very good. No, I know. I have like weird taste.
It's
Nobody's
cool.
ever heard
it's
of
good
them.
that you're like, you're spreading the word about these like indie shows.
Right. How would they ever have any success?
I don't know.
Or influence or anything.
You should check them out. I think they're gonna get there. I think they're gonna go somewhere.
Yeah, Jerry Seinstein or something. Just Seinfeld. Yeah.
Funny guy.
For the longest time, Ben Kirschenbaum, friend of the pod, funny comic. Look him up if you can spell his name.
Good luck. Yeah, a lot of consonants in a row. Whoa.
But like some girl brought him up once as Kirschenfeld, and he was like, "Fucking anti-Semitic bitch." Was like so pissed, and I was like, I think she just got. Like, I think she fucked up your name. I don't think it was like a targeted insult.
I promise you it wasn't. She got nervous and then just made it happen.
Yeah. And then was just like, it was definitely a Jewish ending. So I'm just going to go with
She went with one of the three.
Yeah. I said Bergfeld or Steen.
Yes.
No, it's a bomb, you idiot.
She was wrong.
Yeah.
What's her name? Let's cancel her. It was me. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Okay. So are you ready for the real story?
Also, quick aside.
Okay.
I want one last comment. Kirschenbaum is a German word. Do we know this?
Yeah, it is.
It means cherry tree.
Because they went to, I think Jews were trying to like hide or like something.
So they like
trying to, like,
change
assimilate.
their...
Yeah, yeah. But I think...
That was like the first thing I've ever said to Ben. I was like, you know what your last name means?
He's like, yeah, I do.
No, I got it. Yeah. I was like, well, I'm German. And he's like, okay.
Yeah. But that's the funny thing about it, and I don't know much about. I mean, this is just from Ben, so if I'm wrong, yell at him.
Yell at him.
But he's like
Ben Kirschenbaum.
Yeah, he's like the funniest thing is that they did it to try to like assimilate and go under the radar, and then the only people that have that last name are Jews. So he's like,
yeah. Germans are like, well, we appreciate the effort, but you've made it quite easy to find you. We don't name ourselves after trees.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about just South Africa in general. I famously just went on my honeymoon. That was really cool. So I wanted to talk about the trophy killing industry in South Africa and some of the other countries.
Related African
Zimbabwe,
locations.
Mozambique, etc.
Is this a how-to guide?
This is a how-to guide.
Cool.
Okay, so what is trophy hunting? You might be asking yourself. Basically, it's the legal practice of selectively hunting wild game animals. So it's like, it's like the big five, like the lions,
Elephants,
elephant, lion,
zebra,
yes,
hippopotamus,
yes, or a
rhino,
and a leopard,
giraffes.
I don't think giraffes are on the big five. What is
wildebeest? Deloitte, KPMG.
Let me see the big five because I feel like a fucking idiot. I literally just got back 2 days ago and I'm like, oh.
EY.
Big five safari, South Africa. Come on, show us what they are.
Oh, here we are.
Okay, lions, leopards, elephants,
wildebeest, and rhinos.
Okay.
Oh my God, I said wildebeest as a joke, and I was right.
Look at that. I love the wildebeest because they look like they're like little George Washingtons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Martha Washington here.
Oh, it's
actually. Do you ever do that in the pool?
It's actually a buffalo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess so.
African buffalo.
Yeah, but they have little George Washington heads.
So we have the. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to call it wildebeest.
Yeah, you know what's so you know what's crazy how you can get so used to so many things like when we were on safari and we would see a giraffe, we were like, "Oh, it's just a giraffe. Let's keep going." And I'm like, "That's just a fucking huge ass giraffe."
Enormous. Weirdly tall. Why are they so tall?
Famously tall.
But like, why is that the only animal that's really chosen that characteristic to like lean in on?
I don't know. And they're like, they're like, yeah, it's so smart that his head's like that. I'm like, or they could just be like a cat and climb up the tree and eat the leaves.
Every other no other animal species was like tall as fuck.
Yeah, like
what we're going for.
Fun fact: apparently, we have the same amount of vertebrae as a giraffe.
Whoa, they must be huge.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
So we could go to the same kind of chiropractors?
I guess so. Imagine cracking that neck.
You need the MLK hands.
Dude.
We are on one today.
Do you believe in chiropractic?
I do.
You do?
It's bullshit. I know that for sure. Like, I think it's like probably a pseudoscience, but I like it. It makes me feel better, you know?
Yeah. I just feel like I knock on wood, have not had back problems in my life, and I just don't want to find out if I'm gonna have them.
Oh, I love a chiropractor.
Do you have back problems?
Sometimes.
But then it's like this snowball effect, you know? Because it's like, then you go
to
the guy.
When they crack your neck, oh my God, it is the best thing in the world. It's better than an orgasm.
Really?
It's way too short. It's like a quarter second, but then you're like, oh.
Wow.
It's a nice feeling.
Are you scared ever?
No.
Oh, really?
Would I die? Okay. This is how I went out. All right.
I would definitely.
All right.
I would be like, can the doctor be on the pod? It's just me and the doctor. I'm like, so tell me about the moment that you saw the life leave Laura's life.
She was happy. Let me tell you. She said better than an orgasm. She had a great time. I don't know. Still trying to charge her insurance though.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm really paranoid about my back because I just feel like
that's
once
a good approach.
Like once your back goes, it's just over. Like if I'm in a fitness class and like my back hurts, like even the smallest amount, I'm like, nope, knees.
Nope.
No. I'm not like out here trying to get a fucking bill.
I love anything like just trying to get all that aligned. I'm a huge fan. I used to do active release therapy. All sorts of things. I've had needles, dry needling through my back. I've done basically a lot of experimental shit.
Okay. What about acupuncture? You like that?
Acupuncture's fine. It's just not hard enough for me.
Oh my God.
Like a psychopath. So I got this thing called dry needling, which is bigger needles.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
You're a fucking freak.
Yeah, I know.
I would be nervous about the big needles of like somehow like there's like a bee in there and then like rolling off and then just like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I got that done, I had that done in my hip because I was having a bunch of hip issues when I was swimming.
Yeah.
And when they would put them in, I would just be like, and you sit with them for like 30 minutes. And I was just
my God.
Literally, I've never been more still in my life because I was like, I don't want to puncture. So, and it's big needles.
Oh my God.
And they're in your muscle. And the goal is to like overstimulate that muscle to where it like eventually lets go.
Wow.
And it does work. I will say, like it did help.
Yeah.
But it was tough. I was sitting there
Did it hurt really bad to put them in?
Yeah. No, it doesn't feel good.
Ooh.
But then it feels really good.
Okay.
And it hurts before anyway. So you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And it helps.
Well, okay. That's nuts. You know what else hurts is when animals get murdered. I think that probably hurts them too.
Do you think so?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so these fucking assholes will go out and spend a ton of money to kill a wild animal and then bring it back as a trophy. So the people can bring back like the skin, the head, the tusks, fur, and then they can brag about it to their buddies, I guess.
Different social groups.
A
lot of those people in Texas, though.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. I knew a lot of them, too.
Really? Mm-hmm. Big game hunters?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably rich-ass fucking
They are
people.
rich. They have ranches frequently, and those ranches are very nice.
Oh, that is
fun
nice.
to go visit those.
Yeah.
Say.
Okay, so who the fuck would do this? People Laura knows.
My friends.
Me. Her friends and family. The family from Succession classically had an episode on that where like they just released them underneath them and then they all shot them. So it like wasn't even
like from helicopters or whatever.
Yeah. And I don't really know. I mean, obviously I haven't done this, so I don't really know how challenging or not challenging it is, but it feels like in some cases it's like ridiculously easy to kill them. Don't come at me. I don't fucking know. But I'm like, it's not even like a actual like hunt.
I think it depends. Like if you're going into the genuine, like the wild,
yeah,
where it's dangerous for you, I don't think this is a cool thing to do at all, but at least there it's like, okay, that's an actual skill set that you exhibited.
Right.
But they have those farm, like, I don't want to call it a farm, but like those, I guess, ranches where they do hold all the animals there. And it's like, it's very easy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel kind of deal.
Yeah. And you're just killing a lion for no fucking reason. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh! Speaking of lions, we have 2 cats in the other room. So they just like
something
knocked over
just
something.
happened. And they heard about this and they were like, "What?"
Yeah, they were like, "Hey, fucking humans are doing that!
They're shooting animals!"
That's crazy.
Yeah. If you guys step out of line, break one more glass.
So these hunts, they pay like you have to pay around like you have to pay tens of thousands of dollars. For the opportunity to kill a lion. And then I think you also have to get a permit to hunt certain things. Like, so I don't know what year this was, sorry, but whatever. There was a $350,000 permit to hunt a black rhino that was sold last December, but I think this was written a while ago. Yeah.
Wait, aren't those insanely endangered?
Yes. And
what?
I know. So the interesting thing when we were on our little safari thing, which was like, you know, you just drive around and you look at the animals. Like there's no one shooting animals within. No, I mean, seemed like a while away from us. And you could tell with the animals because it was interesting. We had that British couple I was just talking about. It was actually a couple and their parents, and they had been in I think Tanzania or Zimbabwe. I don't know, whatever. They had been somewhere else before, and they were like, the temperament of these elephants versus those elephants is like night and day.
Because they weren't scared?
They weren't scared. So our guide was telling us, so he was like, even places that there isn't like poaching anymore and there isn't these like hunting things or whatever, he was like, it's kind of like they've adapted and they've learned to fear humans in a way that these elephants don't. And so the British people, they were telling us that like if you came across a elephant in those regions, they were like, we weren't hunting them, we were doing the same exact thing just over there, just looking at them. And
sure.
Yeah.
Our bird watching friends.
They had to, yeah, right. They really clarified. They were like, we were not shooting anyone. Okay. But like
just pictures.
Yeah.
Of the owls. Once again.
But they were like, those elephants like would charge at you. And like if you're in a little Jeep and you're up against an elephant, like the elephant's winning.
I was up in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep on Twitter. This is what I do. And I saw this video of this like drive-through safari thing you can do in China, I guess.
Okay.
And this woman, I guess, had a fight with her husband, gets out of the car,
What?
runs around, opens the door to her husband, is yelling at him. Fucking tiger comes up and snatches her.
No.
Then another person gets out of the car to go like help her. What are you doing?
No.
That person also gets snatched.
What?
In it, there's a video. Like, it's a fucked up video, obviously.
Yeah.
Thank God, like the actual, like they just pull them off screen so you don't know, but
oh my
stay
God.
in your car, team.
You know what I bet happens was they probably shot it, I guess.
I don't know. It's China.
I mean, yeah, but
honestly, this tiger was well within its rights. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, what are we doing here?
I'm Team Tiger. Okay. Fuck 'em.
That's actually really funny. So, like, speaking of being desensitized, there was this really cool couple that was.
I can't believe I saw that video.
That's
it's so
insane.
fucked.
I can't believe it's still up.
Yeah.
But the British people came after this other couple had left, and there was this really cool couple. Actually, it's Tobin Miller's boss, a friend of the pod that we know here. His boss was on safari with us, and I was like, "That's so funny! How small is this world?" He was in our car.
Whoa.
Him and his wife, and they were also on their honeymoon. And they were just super cool, like really adorable people, and really happy. Whatever. They were an inspiration.
What are the odds?
I know.
That's wild.
I was like, you sure you work in finance? Like, you seem so well adjusted.
Yeah, you should try comedy.
Yeah.
Also, was this the tour where you fired the lady?
No, that was a different tour. I'll circle back to that.
Okay.
But so, anyway, so he got like super comfortable because he had been on like a million rides and they had come from a different country that they were doing safari in too. So he was like, I've just been on like a million of these rides, and we were watching these lions that were sleeping. They were asleep, but still there was like 3 fucking lions sleeping like 2 seconds away from us. And he was like, I really have to pee. Can I get out here? And the guide was like,
no.
Are you like insane? And then like later on, then it became like this joke where like later on during the day, we'd see like a leopard like literally like salivating and like walking towards us. And he goes, just so we're on the same page, you can't get out and pee.
That's a good tour guide.
Yeah, but oh my God, it was crazy. But then they would take us. It was actually interesting where they would take us to these little places where I guess they knew. I'm sure they like track where they're like, okay, there's no like lion prides over here and whatever. But then they would like, we would like eat breakfast like out in the bush, and I'm like, what the fuck is stopping an animal from coming over here and also eating our breakfast and eating us? Yeah, and they also said, which animals are really cool, but he was like, if you're out walking, they would like recognize you as food more than like if you're in a car, they know you're a human. They understand that.
Of course they do. Yeah, I'm sure they can smell you. And
right. They get that you're a human. Like you're not really like their thing because whatever. But he was like, if you're walking on the ground, they might attack you. It's like the difference between walking and being.
I can get that. Like
the
metal and just all the additional senses around that. We're like oil and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like something. I mean, who knows what the ethics of like South Africa, famously not the most ethical company, not the most famous country ever. But I'm like, I was saying to Mark, I was like, I feel like it's just a matter of time before, one of these things gets knocked over by an elephant or something. And then the safaris are all shut down.
Yeah, I don't think they would though, because they make so much money off of it.
That's the thing. So this is sort of an interesting ethical question because
did you have to sign shit before you went in? Yeah. There you go. The end.
But because we saw these rhinos and the rhinos all had their noses cut off, the horns, they were all cut off. And so I asked the guy, I was like, why? I was like, what's up with that? And he was like, well, it's actually kind of like an interesting thing. So apparently in the Far East, mostly Vietnamese people, I think, they grind up stuff and that they grind up the rhino's horn and
for like sex thing,
for sex stuff, and also just like it's just like a status symbol to have a rhino horn.
It's ivory, right?
No, that's the tusks from the elephants. But they also get taken for things. But go ahead.
I went to the Tampa Zoo. Pretty much the same experience.
Yeah.
It was the same. And they had this big jar, like a see-through jar, completely full of crushed ivory. Because I guess they were so trying to like get that industry in check to prevent poaching going forward, that if they had ever, like if the authorities ever found people with ivory, they would take it and then they would destroy it.
Right.
So that people wouldn't like resell it or something like that. So it was like the law that it had to be crushed, and they had this big thing of it. And apparently that's done a shit ton to help the poaching industry to like make it less lucrative, because there's a pretty good shot that you're going to get it taken away and crushed.
Yeah. So this I thought was really interesting with the rhinos that didn't have the noses or the horns, whatever, is that he was like, we actually do that here, because he was like, when they're old enough to have that, he was like, it sucks, but like we just take it and chop it off, because we will like
it's like
tranquilize them and then take it off so that the poachers don't come in this area. So he's like, it's
that big of a problem.
It's that big of a problem. So he's like, it's such like a double-edged sword, because at one hand we're taking off their horn, and that's unnatural and that's really fucked up. On the other hand, we're protecting the species, because a poacher's just going to straight up kill it.
Right.
And it's super endangered. So he's like, it's really like one of these you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't thing. But they have like this certain area of the Sabi Sands, and like if there's like a little rhino family, they'll just take their horns so that other people don't kill them.
Wow.
For the horns.
I guess that makes sense. What do they do with the horns then? I mean,
that's what I didn't ask, but I was like, so now are you guys selling them?
Yeah. You better have those somewhere.
He's like, yeah, how do you think we're paying for your pool? Okay.
We needed renovation, so it was us.
And he made a good point. I feel like it's actually interesting. I've noticed this a few times in South Africa. I'm like, I feel like they've like channeled their racism towards other groups now.
Oh, no. But we're doing that in America too.
Yeah, totally. But he was saying, he was like, it's mostly the Far East that comes over and like wants those. And he was like, and you don't see us going after fucking pandas, or they don't, I was like,
yeah, but if you said it would get you hard.
Yeah. A panda's not getting hard at all.
Panda's not getting anyone hard. So famously, they're not fucking enough.
They don't do anything.
Panda fucking.
No. So
remember how I feel like there's so many zoos where they were like just tracking like the mating of pandas. We're all like, come on.
Yeah. And when there was like a new one, it was like global news.
So exciting.
Yeah.
It really is.
You know what's weird about that? And I don't know why. I'm not a fucking zoologist or whatever, but apparently it's really hard for them to mate in captivity, but not in the wild. And I'm like, what?
I get that.
I guess.
It's got to be your kink.
They don't want to. They don't want people looking at them.
Voyeurism. What? Put cameras in here.
Also, the other point I wanted to bring up too is that, like, they have to get like permission, obviously, to like build those little carve out little roads, like those dirt roads we were on. And so they work with like a conservationalist to make sure they're not taking too much of the land. And it's kind of like, it's a very like consensual thing with the animals in the sense that like there's not too many roads. There's tons of pasture in between. So like if a leopard doesn't want to be fucking looked at, it would just be like, I'm just going to go over here then. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
that's good. That's
was good, whatever. But he was like, these conservationalists are like hardcore. Like if it were up to them, there would be zero roads here and it would just be completely natural. But he was like, but that's not the world we live in, unfortunately. He was like, if this land wasn't making money for the government, for the people of this area, for all that stuff, like these animals would be wiped out. And that's just the truth. So he's like, it's kind of like weird. It's like these animals need to make us money for them to exist. But then we're also like in their space. Yeah. So it's like a very like interesting ethical
capitalism.
Question. Yeah, capitalism.
Yeah.
What do you know about it?
You got to make money this is their 9 to 5. You got to get a 9 to 5. Get your resumes in check, giraffes.
So, apparently these 10-day elephant hunting packages in Zimbabwe can sell for up to $15,000 for one hunter. And I don't even know if you're like necessarily guaranteed. I've also seen them reported. How could they guarantee that, I guess? Unless it's like the Succession thing where it's like a bloodbath. But anyway, then they've also seen them up to $80,000 for 14 days, which Jesus Christ.
That's insane.
Because like imagine being that rich and like choosing to spend your money on going to Africa and like taking back an elephant. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know. I mean, famously, people are fucked up.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like some weird... Something in your brain is just a little different. So this is the thing is I actually don't have a problem with hunting. Yeah. I think like hunting deer, like there's plenty of like areas where they need to like, you have to control the population. Also like if
you're
going to eat it, like, all right, like that's fine. It's not for me, but I'm like totally fine with people doing it.
Yeah, sure.
But things like that where it's very clearly just some weird power thing.
Yeah.
Is like,
you gotta look in fucking head of this elephant.
You gotta go to therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go to therapy and it's...
Yeah, it is really weird. Yeah. And like there has to be like some sort of population control, obviously. Like
I don't think for elephants.
For most of these, they're pretty endangered.
That's what I was thinking. Like I'm like, if it's an endangered animal, leave it alone. If it's, I don't know. I only can think of deer. I'm sure there's probably other species that also have a similar thing. Then like, yeah, go do that. Go do that. Get a nice buck.
Sure.
Get your rocks off, you fucking weirdo, and move it along.
Oh yeah, apparently that's why we can hunt deers because
there's so many.
There's so fucking many of them that like they would.
They would cause problems.
Yeah,
I got it.
They take over the neighborhood.
They are really taking over this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're like, who's they? And you're like, deers. You're like, oh, okay. Oh, thank God.
Property value. Whoa.
Yeah. Blah blah blah. So it's somewhere in the ballpark of like I think. Somewhere between $190 million to $326 million, which is a huge delta. So I don't know what the fuck that's about. But it's somewhere in that as an industry in South Africa specifically. So that's just one country.
I bet there's illegal variations of it too.
Totally. Oh, definitely.
Like, there's no way.
Yes.
There's no way these guys would be like, the law says not to do that.
And apparently it supports around 53,000 jobs on the continent. So that's a lot of jobs.
It is. Look at that, Goldman. Those people can go move on over to this industry.
So I thought it would obviously be apropos. We gotta talk about Cecil the lion. Okay.
I know the name, but jog my memory.
So there are like regulations in the sense that like, okay, you can hunt over here, you cannot hunt after this line. There's like little people are doing studies, they're whatever, like these animals are protected for whatever reason. So Cecil the lion was this like 14-year-old lion, and he was being tracked for a study. He was like beloved in the area because he had a black mane, so everybody knew him. Which I was like, I saw a bunch of lions with a black mane, so I don't know. But whatever.
Anyway,
Cecil was special.
No, I love it. That's great.
Yeah. And apparently an elephant had died, and the people that were guiding on the side that you could hunt, and the people that were guiding, no, sorry, it was on the side that you couldn't hunt, and it had died. And the people that were trying to lure people in so that their fucking assholes could shoot an animal, they like moved the elephant over to the hunting side, and then so Cecil followed, and Cecil got shot by a dentist.
Okay.
From Minneapolis, I believe, or somewhere in Minnesota.
Sure.
And so
that's sad.
Yeah, so that was like pretty fucking crazy. And
was the dentist all of a sudden like public enemy number one?
He was. Yeah. So he was like, and you know, I kind of like, listen, I do not feel bad for the dentist. What? Don't quote me on that.
What the hell?
But I mean, if I were this dentist, I would be like, okay, I do this thing that a lot of other people do. I didn't fucking know they moved that carcass over. Like, how am I supposed? Like I feel like the guide should have gotten in more trouble than he did.
Absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, in this case, he represented just everything wrong with that entire industry.
Exactly.
So you really took that one for team bad guy.
Yeah.
You really leaned in. But I agree that I think that the organization and the fact that they have this weird hunt, no hunt line, that's probably the bigger conversation to be had.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, let's rip on this dentist, whatever.
Yeah. Well, he's back at it. Apparently he keeps going back to places.
What's going to be worse? You killed a beloved lion. Like, I'm sure now he's like, whatever.
Yeah, he went to Pakistan apparently and killed some like really cool looking fucking thing.
He's got his own page now. He's like, also, I'm the guy who killed Cecil the lion.
I'm like, so how the fuck do you have that much money just running a dentistry? Like,
yeah,
you know,
adult orthodontia.
I guess so. He's putting fucking veneers on everyone. Yeah. Everyone in that town has veneers.
Yeah, he was trying to just look at Cecil's teeth.
Yeah, no. Cecil, but. You know, like, it sucks that Cecil had to die, but it actually was kind of great because now it's becomes like such a stigma to do this that hopefully like less of it will be happening and they'll just get money from the safaris and stuff. Because also what they've been doing, and like the other thing is like, at least where I was, they made it seem anyway, maybe I'm just naive as fuck, but like they made it seem like they really didn't like fuck with the nature. You know,
that's good.
Where it's like, okay, if this is our area and the rhinos have migrated to a different area, sorry, you're not going to see rhinos. We're not going to like put the rhino back in the area, or whatever.
Just to like appease you.
They let nature do its thing, and so a lot of these places have been breeding animals for the use of killing them. And so what they'll do, based on my understanding of reading these, is like they'll breed all these like mutant animals, and they kind of look different too. Like you can tell it'll be like regular lion, mutant lion, or what? Like there's little like side by sides. Maybe I can't find it. Whatever. So, but what they'll do is then they'll just release them, and like they've been being fed by humans their whole life. They've been like living in cages, so they don't know what the fuck's going on. And then they like,
I'm gonna cry. That's horrible.
And then what they'll do is they'll kind of like give them a sedative and then just release them. And then these fucking assholes like this dentist are just like pew 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 and
so
kill
sad.
them. Yeah.
Fuck. That's really sad. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's really shitty. And then this other article that I listened to, I thought it was sort of interesting. It put like two scenes together, and this is like classic, you know, like rich versus poor. You could say racism, whatever. But like scene number one is like there's, you know, people that are like poachers, and they're trying to feed their families, and one rhino thing could feed them for a very long time. It's worth $3,000. And they would get, you know, tied up, and like they would go to jail. They'd be like, you can't poach here, blah, blah, blah. But then at the other side of the equation, there's people that are paying to do the exact same thing, and nobody has a problem with it because they're paying $15,000 fucking dollars to the government or to the game reserve.
The government wants to have the control over it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's one of those, I understand like you need to like get your economy in check and like the value of humans has historically obviously been greater than, at least we perceive it to be greater than the needs of animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But maybe let's just get some like fucking startups out there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's a labor shortage.
Also to me, like
some remote work.
to me, like You know when you look at a horse and you're like, this horse fucking knows shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's got those knowing eyes. Like, I feel like there's definitely...
Absolutely.
Like, you know, there's certain animals, like, elephants know shit.
Elephants, they
fucking know. And they got great memories. They're wicked smart, and they're old. They're fucking old fucks.
Yeah.
They live until, like, 70.
Yeah.
So they've, like, seen some
human
shit.
lives.
Yeah, they really do. And, I don't know, just, like, just shooting that is so insane to me. Like, I'm like, that type of person could very easily slip into a rage of anger and kill a human.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I understand, and I'm sure there's different cultural backgrounds, so, you know, maybe there's different opinions out there, but for me, that's a hard red flag.
Yeah.
Hard red flag.
That and having a Hummer. I would be...
yeah, actually. But I do kind of feel like they go hand in hand. They do. You know? It's just the only thing stopping Hummer person is just money from doing this as well.
If I was dating a man and he was like, I drive a Hummer, I'd be like, oh. And then he was like, and then I go to Africa and get big game, I'd be like, we're out of here.
We're done.
We're done. This is
and
done.
Again, people who hunt deer and people who hunt in general, I really don't have a problem with it as long as it's like kind of sustainable and natural in the way that you're using everything. Maybe there's a variation that you can do that with big game. I just don't know enough about it. And it out the gate sounds really bad to me.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure some of them do it in a way that is like similar to what we would see with.
So maybe there are some exceptions that I would technically be okay with. I'm just not aware of them.
I didn't find many of them on the internet.
Yep. Nope. We just found some Cecil the lion.
Poor Cecil.
Poor Cecil.
He's so handsome.
He's a good boy. He was a good boy.
Yeah. Let's see. So there's a trophy hunter killed this thing. Look how cute it is.
Oh my god.
It's really cool, right?
Also, how do you get up there?
I don't know.
This is like the craziest long
horns.
I'm like ears?
Yeah, ears, horns, whatever.
Horns. Yeah. Those ears are crazy.
Truly.
They're spirals.
So here's a picture of the guy who killed Cecil the lion.
Oh, no.
He seems to have like no remorse too, which
looks like he wouldn't.
That's the thing that's a problem with it. So he was famous for killing Cecil. There's Cecil.
Oh God.
And he was a Zimbabwean lion, and now he's out. He's killing things again. So here he is with, I don't know what that is. A ram? A ram. Hunted in Mongolia. So this guy like travels the world just to take lives.
Yeah. I mean, a ram is like, that seems like a fairly common animal. Again, yeah. I think it's weird. Don't get me wrong. But
right.
I'm going to trust that people will have this handled. But the lions and stuff like that, that's like kind of endangered is weird to me.
Also, it's kind of weird. Like, I get that people hunt for pleasure, for something to do, whatever. But like, if you almost lost your dentistry practice over this, and you were humiliated on a global scale for being like a monster and a piece of shit for killing Cecil.
Globally.
My days of going and killing a ram in a foreign country would be over.
Definitely.
So I'm like, this guy must be coming or something.
Yeah, this must be his weird kink.
Like,
I shouldn't be kink shaming, but I'm gonna.
This guy's definitely killed some sex workers. That's my theory.
He's like, then I went to Thailand.
Yeah, I had some lady boys over.
Yikes.
You won't hear about that though, because they're fucking dead.
Oh God. You heard it here first. It's the New York Post / risqué business edition.
Oh yeah. So then I also wanted to talk about this little snippet too. So apparently recently there was a hunter that was crushed to death by an elephant in Zimbabwe.
Oof.
Which is sort
Good
of
for them.
Yeah.
The elephant's like, we never forget. We've seen your face before. This is for Cecil.
Yeah. So this guy Thenuis, Botha. Anyway, he was a 51-year-old guy from South Africa, and he was walking with clients at a farm on some like national park, and he disturbed a herd of breeding elephants. Oh shit.
Oh.
3 female elephants charged the hunters, and he shot at them before a 4th grabbed him with its trunk. Oh my God. And another hunter fatally shot the elephant, which collapsed on top of him, and then he died that way.
Wow.
That's why like
that's so poetic.
I know.
Oh God. Wow. Again, I'm team elephant. Sorry.
Oh man.
Should have been better with your gun.
Yeah. They're crazy.
You're not only bad at your hunting, you're trying to hunt and you're doing a bad job.
We saw an elephant trying to mate, and oh my God, that thing be thangin', okay? It was like,
oh no,
it was like as big as the trunk, seriously. And it was just like flopping around, and it looked all wet and like.
I bet it was. Don't they retract?
Yeah, it like goes in, so it was just like sort of like shiny and wet, and it was chasing this female elephant. The female elephant was like screaming, and it was like running after her with its big dick. Nothing is consensual.
No, we are.
Maybe that's why they're hunting them, because they're all rapists.
Well, all right. Now maybe I'm team hunters again.
Yeah.
Like, too much rape.
So anyway, guys.
What a story.
What a story. I mean, that's just like a little
We're going to lose
overview.
all our big game hunter listeners.
I guess so.
Still like and subscribe.
If hunting's your thing, just make sure you're going to a place that's ethical and doesn't breed lions so that they can be horribly mutilated. But the other thing,
weird, like I think what really got me about that was like the mutant, like some weird variation of the lions, and then raising them in cages and like
I know
to where they don't. Oh, it's so sad.
I'm trying to find. I had an article, so I want to show you this side by side. Maybe I can look it up while you talk amongst yourself.
Talk amongst ourselves. It is strange how like I feel like only recently. I mean, I know they've been doing protests about like animal cruelty for quite some time, but I feel like recently they've actually made it some more strides. Like I always get really spooked when I'm in the grocery store and then you can look at the different types of eggs. You know how there's always like 60 different types of eggs, and it's like there's like different gradients of how cruel they were raised.
Yeah.
And you're like, for an extra $1, you can not have like all of these chickens who were really tortured. Like,
I know.
Really tortured.
It does make me think, and like, listen, this is something that I say I'm going to implement, but then at the end of the day, I got to fucking pay my bills. But I'm like, I would like ideally to get meat from like local farms in like Long Island or something that I know that they're able to walk around. Obviously, like, you know, sometimes that's just not doable, but like it is like, it did make me think a lot about
that's good.
Where my meat's coming from.
Exactly, you know, the conservation component of the safari. It means it worked.
So
this
here's
is the mutant.
Yeah, so they look like lions, but they're just like lighter than a lion, and they're just not natural. Like here's an impala.
Oh, wow.
This is what a normal impala looks like, and then it's like bright white. For some reason, they like lose their.
Do you think they do that maybe partially on? Oh wow, yeah, they're like lighter.
Easier. Yeah, and then this one has like a whole different kind of type of neck.
Yeah,
it's interesting. We'll put these on the gram. But yeah, they're kind of like the real thing. They're just a little different, and they're bred by these breeders that make a shitload of money off of it. Here's one of these guys. Oh, there was this other thing too. I'm really like, I learned a lot over there.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
But we were driving by, and there were like all these little farms or whatever, and there was just like a sign that was like stop farmer murders, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And apparently people were going into farms and fucking murdering the people that lived there, I guess, to like take over the farm. I don't know. I asked the driver about it, and I was like, well, that's so funny, because it's like people have this whole plan to go in there and murder them, and then they see the sign, they're like, oh no.
Couldn't.
This is a no murdering zone.
They don't want to be murdered.
See, I didn't know that.
Honest mistake.
Yeah. Also, in Cape Town, which I'll save this for next week's episode because it's been kind of a long one. Okay, I have 2 stories I want to tell from Cape Town, and then we will officially be over my Africa.
Oh,
I'll
be circling back.
But oh shit, I lost my train of thought. No.
Cape Town.
Oh, in Cape Town, we drove out to like this big cliff or whatever that you go and see. I was like, whatever, this could be Malibu. But like, I mean, I was happy to be there, but I was also like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Cute. Ocean. Okay.
Great. It's a fucking ocean. Wonderful. Anyway, me and Mark were complaining because we had to hike up this big thing and there was no fucking beers. I was like, what the hell's the point of having an attraction like this? I need a beer at the end of this. Like at the Great Wall of China, I had a beer.
That's great.
Yeah. In Paris, the fucking Eiffel Tower, I climbed up that, had a beer. If I'm going to do a hike, I need a beer at the end, obviously. They can make a killing. Whatever. So we drove by.
Small business. Okay, sharks.
But we drove by one of these shanty towns that they have where like the government like cruelly just like sticks people and there's no fucking running water.
Yep.
Whatever. So we're driving by and there was all these signs that said danger, high crime rate. And I was like, translation, it's like danger. There's poor people over here.
Yeah. Have you seen this?
Have you seen the poor people?
Keep driving. Don't you dare stop.
It's kind of funny. Like I feel like going to places like that, it's nice to be able to acknowledge how far we have come. in the States where it's like, well, I think there's the empathy is.
It's at least it's a little bit more discussed and stuff like that. Like I remember when we went to Cabo, it was the exact same thing. Like Cabo itself is like obviously extremely resorts and like it's very expensive. It's kind of like
it's crazy
United
expensive.
States prices where I'm like, what's
the point of this?
I'll go to Florida, Mexico.
Then. I mean, I guess
Miami.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's different landscape, whatever. But driving from the airport out into the resorts, you just pass like miles of just shanties.
Yeah. Right.
And you're like, well, this is why everything here can run, like it's nuts.
I know.
It makes you really, I don't know, that entire experience really creeped me out. I like places like, I'm sure they have issues too, but like Mexico City where you feel like you're actually like a part of the culture a little bit more, like contributing in a normal dignified way. I don't know, like a respect more for not just taking advantage as much. I'm sure I'm very naive as well. Anyway.
Right.
This has been our civil liberties.
We've also been so wishy-washy on everything. We're like, it's good, but it's bad. And it's also good at the same time.
Well, I will say, actually, that's probably what more people's opinions should be. Because, shocker, things are nuanced.
Right.
There is no black and white answer.
Not in South Africa anymore.
Not in South Africa anymore. All right, I think that's good. I think that's a wrap.
Guys, like and subscribe.
Tell your friends.
If you have any opinions on this,
let us know.
Listen,
actually.
I'm very humble. I know that I've said a lot of things that you probably were rolling your eyes at. So feel free to let us know in a constructive way.
5 stars, you're fucking dumb.
Yeah. As long as it's 5 stars. And if you tell your friends, hey, listen to this dumbass podcast, that would be great. Thank you.
Perfect.
All right.
We'll talk to you later.
We'll see you later. Bye. Thank you for listening.